Hello, hello, hello. Make sure everything's working here. Make sure you guys can see me. Comment if you can hear me. I know sometimes this does not work very well. I know there's a bit of a delay on the other feed there was. But I took Iowa Trapper's advice today and I made a list of what we're going to talk about. Got a bunch of products here we're going to talk about besides my drink. If you want to hear about my drink, it's just a Cascade Ice cherry. Just one of those fizzy things to cut sodas. I don't drink a lot of sodas anymore. I've been hooked on these. But it's just no sugar, no nothing, just some artificial sugar and some carbonated water and potassium, citric acid. Stuff's pretty good, this carbonated ice. Got some fun stuff here to talk about today. Got things like pack basket on the list. I got tools, things you'll carry on the trap line. Things that I carry besides, basic set of gloves, basic stuff, more stuff like axes, machetes, etc. And some trapping stuff. We got dispatch to talk about, and what I will be using dispatching when I get a property that allows it. We're actually asking another property right now as in the process of talking to somebody. And we got to talk about rep sets for rats, talking about like muskrat and nutria, stuff like that. These sets also cross over for otter, beaver, but not the same size traps that I brought out. These are more mainly stuff that I use for muskrat, and with the potential of a nutria to walk through, potentially with that will kill an otter or a beaver. Little small for beaver, but can do it with the right size beaver. It's not ideal with the beaver these size trap, but it is what it is. To talk about what I put in the trail, how I put it in the trail, and some options that I play with here and there. There's that. Then the rest of the discussion is kind of open for topics that you guys want to talk about. I got 4 things here to talk about. Got 1, 2. I got like 20 props here. Talk about I got my machetes, I got my axes, I got my kukris, stuff that I carry on the line. I got a box that has a weapon in it, but will not be shown on stream. I think when you look at the box, you'll know exactly what it is. I'm not trying to get penalized by YouTube, so I'm not going to actually show the weapon. I don't need them coming after my channel, so that won't actually be shown, but it is in the box, and I'll explain what it is. Got some ammunition here to talk about, different types that you can use for trapping, and different theories that I've heard on why one would be better than the other, or the other one vice versa. We got some traps here, a couple small traps, talk about rats. One's that's specifically for like muskrat. This is a variant of it because I like a little more power with them. I got some 220s here to talk about. I got one stand and another stand to show. And then I got a stand to explain. The last stand is pretty buried in my box. We got that. I got 2 axes. I got a pack basket, one of the best pack baskets in the business. I would avoid going to their website, not because they're bad, but because they're very expensive on the website. I would go to places like a website I'm going to mention when I talk about it and the modifications I made to my pack basket. Then we're going to talk about the more stuff that, we talk, like I said, we talk about dispatch. Talk about where you would dispatch, where other people talk about dispatch, what I've heard and what I've seen people talk about, like in videos. So, heard me like what I hear on Facebook, what I read on Instagram, what I read on trapping platforms, that being the heard part, or the red part, or the herd, yeah. What I've seen is what I've seen in the trapping videos. What they use, what people use, what works for them. And I'm going to go over some other stuff here. If I run out of ideas before people get in here and start talking, so be it. This video will be going up on my channel. People will be seeing it. And yeah, so I just got to go from the beginning. So first subject here, talk about pack basket. I wrote down this particular pack basket here, right? This big one, the 22-inch Loring LORING. It's called a Loring pack basket. The back here, the Loring pack basket. Loring, it's a Loring pack basket, and they use it for ice fishing. Like it's made in England. It is like a traditional pack basket, right? Let me get the driver out real quick. Like a traditional pack basket, but it's synthetic material, so it never rots, never mildews, never goes bad. Some of the riggers will rot, but that's not a problem when you're trapping. This is a real sturdy bottom on it. You've seen me wearing it in videos. You've seen me showing in videos. This particular one's mine. This is a green and black one that I chose with black straps. I got this particular pack basket from Kittery Trading Post. It's in Maine. I did a little research who I want to go to, where I can go to get it a little cheaper. Kittery had a really good deal. They had about $100 cheaper than their website, and they had the pack basket for a good price, about $120. Whereas Kittery website, or the not Kittery, but the Loring website had it for about $200. And then you had about $150 on there, and then you had about $50 shipping. Kittery had $12 shipping. Kittery Trading Post and Kittery, what's up, Corey? Kittery also had it for $120, $12, $14 shipping. Beats their website. But what you don't get on Kittery Trading Post is the options of blue straps, green straps, pink baskets, etc. So what I did is I took up 3 22-inch baskets, one green and black one for me, a black one for my brother, and a black one for my dad. These were Christmas gifts to them, and then I got my own. I didn't tell them about that. Yes, here's the damage. I've worn out a few wicker baskets. Yes, these, if you go to KitteryTradingPost.com, you have about the same price as an expensive wicker basket, but you have $14 shipping versus their website where you're Loring pack basket, where you're looking at a price of, you're looking at $150, maybe more, and a $50 shipping, bringing up to $200 ship. So these are Loring pack baskets. They have all different sizes. This is a 22-inch. Inside here, about the same all wicker baskets, right? I'll measure it real quick. The width of the pack basket is 14 is the opening, and from side to side, 14 openings. The center, from back to front, is 12, but it's 24 inches deep, so 22 inches deep. They have 18 inches deep. They have 22 inches deep. They have 24 inches deep. And this is a synthetic that's guaranteed. It's a plastic weave, would never go bad. This stuff will last you a long time. And what I did on this, going into tools a little bit, is I used to carry an axe, a little boy's axe. It's a 2 1/4 pound Capital Tools boy's axe. This is just one of their regular liner, not the expensive one. So I just ran a file across it and sharpened it. I also carry a little hatchet, a little Hudson Bay hatchet. Depending on what I want to do, I'll leave one in the truck or take both. What I do with them is I put this little quick link on here. I see this big quick link, right? Tie a loop in here, and I take my boy's axe, will slide it into the loop, and the loop is slip knot. So slide it into the loop, slide it down, and I made it just thick enough that it locks in here, just wide enough to fit over the handle here, and it locks in, and it will just kind of sway there. Depending on which way I put it in, it'll sway out or sway towards my back, and it just kind of sits there, right? And this is what I do with this one. I do the same thing with the boy's axe on the other side. I'll just take this out, it slides right out of the loop, right over the end. That's one of the tools I carry. I'll carry an axe, or on the hatchet, got a smaller loop here, or not the same size loop. I'll snip the hatchet in here. You can go back and watch my video. I explain this in depth in a video I made about the Loring pack basket. This would fit in there just like this, right there. You have a little hatchet. Just Doesn't have much weight. It's a 1 1/4 pound object. Doesn't have weight. It's sharp. It works. Another option I carry in my boring back basket. Pardon the questions. I'll get to them in a second. In my back basket is either this particular brand I like is a Tramontina machete. It's a Tramontina Bolo, about 12 inches, big bolo tip for speed. And I'll get it razor hair popping sharp. Because when I'm cutting, I'm just swapping and cutting grass. But it will feed through branches too without getting dull. The other one I'll carry sometimes is a regular Latin 24-inch. Big old one. I got a lot through big branches. Or at times when I have running out ground and the top where they go up into the bank, run it out, but the top's open and just covered with grass. I'll take this machete and cut the trench out, widen as much as you can, put a 220 in there on the bank, and catch the animals going in and out of there. But that's what I use this for. This is a pretty good machete. You can get it real sharp. I went through a bunch of machetes and I couldn't get them sharp, but the Tramontina brand is just the right steel. I can get a razor hair pop sharp. And I will cut it out, remove the grass, and I'll step in the trench to wind it out my feet and put a trap in there. And you will catching stuff when water's there. When the water comes up or goes down, depending on what water level it is, it will fluctuate and go in and out of the creek, and it will bring in and out of that trap. So I use the long one here. As you can tell, so it's been used a little bit. Chipped right there. It needs to be hit with a sharpening stone, but yeah. I cut a 150-foot softwood. What is it? It's a softwood tree and cut right through with this, no problem. Very good machete. It's a birch tree, paper birch. Cut right through with this and then no problem. Very good machete. Pulls an edge like a razor. So there's those two things. Now, let me get into some of the questions here. I've went out to wicker baskets and dances. I wish they had lip on them like an old shop basket. Lip on these. You mean these? They have somewhat of a lip on them. They have somewhat of a lip. And they even sell a ice fishing cover, like a cover insulate lining put on it and seal on top. A top of seal. And they use these for like ice fishing a lot on ice. And they have these platforms on the bottom where they actually grab and they stand up just right. Very, very light basket, not heavy at all. Lighter than my carbon top or those fiber top ones. A lot lighter. Oh, a lid, I see, a lid. That's where I think they came up with that line you put in there, and then you see on Mountain Bushcraft Alliance, I think his name is. He has this brand, and he turned Mountain to it, and yeah, it's still on. I don't think it'll be too hard to make a lid for it. Slide in there. But yeah, lid will be nice. The poplar trees is very soft to start with. Birch trees is a little bit different type of wood. Yeah, birch trees is definitely a paper birch. It was long, real soft. It fell down. It was already down. It was already there, laying there, been there a few winters. So I just got to cut through it. I was like, how long is it going to take to cut through this? Well, it didn't take long to cut through it. 10, 15 swings. I was lopping out chunks about that big. On an angle, slicing it, and no problem. And I checked the edge, and it was razor sharp still. So it's a pretty good edge. Didn't deflect, didn't chip away at all. It was pretty good edge. There's those couple items. And here's something a little more special that I carry. On occasion, because it was actually a mess up, I tested the edge, it chipped, and I resharpened it, and it was fine, but I contacted the company, it says 100% guarantee, and it was fixed, right? But it's a traditional Nepalese cookery made in Nepal. This is one from the 17th century version. Went back with the British and the Nepalese fought before the Nepalese joining the British Army. But this particular one is a fighting one. Lean, thin, real fast, and fantastic at lumping branches. And I like it because of the belly here, right? This belly, right here is the sweet spot. When you lock down on it, right, you hit it right here. It's right here, it slices right through as it goes by. It's a real good design of a blade. My buddy makes this one in blue tripoint kukri knives. It's about 150, but fantastic tool. Fantastic tool. And it comes with one of these traditional DAP sheets. But when you put these in, you want to be careful. You want to put it upside down like this, slide it in. Because notoriously, it will split here from dehydration on gas. And what will happen is you go like this, you slide the blade in, and you slice through your fingers because it's so sharp. So you always want to grab on the back of it, and slide it in like that. Like slide in a bow or something into a sheet. So you want to, it's very particular how you do it so you don't cut your fingers off in this narrow part here. The next thing on our list to talk about, let's get some questions here. I plan on getting one of the small electric chainsaws, cut brush out of the way in the creek. See, if I were you, Dan, like you're saying, I would go with chainsaw or something where I'm on the water like that. And I'm going just doing swamps and stuff. I always told myself, if I ever move out in the country and I'm out in the middle of nowhere, I'm always gonna have like a MS 260, so like a small chainsaw, something that if power goes out with a storm, I need to go get milk or something and power back on or whatever, or not even power goes out where a storm, trees fall down, blocking the driveway of mine. I gotta have a saw to get out. That's always my theory. Always have a saw in a truck somewhere, or just go down the road and put it back. But always have a saw because you never know when you're gonna need it. Same thing like you do. You're going down through the swamps. You never know when a tree's going to be across, down, cut the tree. You've been around, you know stupid. You cut from the bottom up or bottom and then cut the top. And how you want to do it so you don't pinch blades. You don't have enough pinch blades. But stuff like that. But chainsaws are real smart thing to have in your boat. But for the white branches, the small, simple twigs that are half-inch diameter, this 0.1% would blow through them, freeze right through them one swing. Like cut through a big blackberry. Same with this little one. It's weight forward, right? When you go, you have a lot of momentum going down on it. It really slices it because of the design of the tip. It's more of a Filipino bolo style, more for like sugarcane grasses. So that's why I got that one. But I keep them hair pump sharp. When I tested the edge on them, when I first sharpened them, I was just touching the edge like this, just touch. I wasn't like going to line it, but I checked my thumb and I had a gash on my thumb. I had it so sharp. I did that with the work sharp. Yes, chainsaw like a simple machete would be great for the small branches. Chainsaw for the trees and limbs that are like 5-6 inches across, whatever. You can't come with a machete. What do you carry now, Drippy? I'm curious. I know a lot of people carry machetes. Sorry, I got these held up with a couple glasses. Some people carry machetes for that. And you mentioned small electric chainsaw, which is interesting. When I was landscaping, I had experience where a guy specifically said, I don't want to cut my lawn with gas machines. You've got to use my electric mower. I was blown away with how much power those electric mowers actually have, electric equipment. Quite a bit of torque. I'm very happy with how far that electric equipment has come. It's quite amazing, actually. So I remember when you would put it on something, cut, and it wouldn't go. It just stopped. Now it breezes through the stuff. It'll breeze through a lot of it, but that's a great idea. An electric chainsaw. I'm impressed with the power they have. Next thing on my list. I talked about the pack basket, scribblies, make sure I can read my stuff. Talked about tools. Talk about the tools. Let's talk about dispatch. I love the work chart for sharpening. I keep a pair of branch swappers in my back of my canoe. Yeah. See, for me, with branch swap, you mean like the big ones or the handheld ones? I have a big one that I like. For the handheld ones, when I work with landscaping, I have a hard time squeezing real hard because I'm pretty sure I'm developing carpal tunnel or something. But my thumb will hurt, so I can't grip real hard. So the lock, I got to keep those razor sharp. One of the guys in my former work was getting upset with me because I always would sharpen them. And they don't even sharpen, they're sharp. They work fine. I can cut them. I should have turned around to him and be like, "What? I cut my hand, so I got to keep them sharp." But he called the boss, made a big fuss out of it. I was like, I was like, whatever, I knew everybody there liked me. The boss liked me. Everybody liked me except for him. So owners liked me. It wasn't a big deal. I should have turned around and be like, "Well, I've paused my hand, so I got to be able, when it grips up, so I got to be able to have them sharp. Got to have them sharp." What was it? Dispatch. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about dispatch. What I've heard, meaning read on Facebook, Instagram, social media, shopping platforms. I do a lot of reading. I binge watch videos. I watch 20, 30 videos sometimes a day on YouTube. So what have I gathered? Air rifles, 22 caliber, a couple of years ago is what Sam Wood swore by. Knocked the raccoons dead, one shot. A lot of people, Iowa Trapper, Next Gen, they all use 17 caliber and certain pellets. Work fantastic. Now, if I go into a noise zone where I can't use a lot of noise, and the neighbor's like, "Well, we got animals, this and that," right? Then I got to go get an air rifle. But I'm actually talking to another property, a co-worker of my father's. My dad's the boss of the company, so talking to a co-worker that has a problem with cat. We're going to ask about the raccoon. So, and it's out in the middle of the country. So let me go right here. 5 feet from me, a couple options. That's kind of where we're going, Jude and Dan. Mine's think alike, Let me go right here with it. Now, a couple options. Set them here. So, you got 22 caliber rifles, right? Now, rifles is different than air rifles. You can hit them with the 22 caliber or 17 caliber air rifle. It won't do much damage. You hit the animal with a 17 HMR, you're blowing a hole in them, and those things are zipping out of there. You're going to cause a lot more damage than you want. So something like a 22 short, CCI 22 short, one of these shorts, and I like CCI. I bought this box, half of them are spinners. Trying to get a refund on some of the boxes. That's Winchester Super X. But these CCIs, every single one of them don't spin and are perfect. These are the short. This is a short, copper-plated round nose target. I don't think target or whatnot makes much difference. I've heard shorts don't cut it, and where they've had live animals. But I think that falls down to where they're shooting them in. How good a shot they are, right? But bought the long rifles for target shooting. Then I got the shorts for traffic. Then I thought, well, from what I'm hearing, you could go either way, right? Because some people say these won't kill them, but you shoot these, they'll go clean through them. So it's a bigger mess. But some people like shooting clean through them. So you got options: shorts, long rifle, and these 22 Super X PowerPoint, 480 feet per second versus the shorts of 1080 feet per second. I don't know how accurate those are, those numbers, but 200 feet per second less doesn't seem like, 200 feet per second less from 1080 to 1280 doesn't seem like a lot of a powder difference, but maybe it is. So maybe the shorts are that much slower. I don't know. I wouldn't imagine it, but call them shorts and to lose that much grass spacing is interesting. But yeah, I just picked one of these Super X out. It's already wiggling. It's already sitting there wiggling. And that's the problem. I went through these 2 boxes I've had of these and threw away pretty much a whole box. And the rest of these are wiggling loose a little bit. I'm worried they're going to jam. So I'm probably going to go with my CCIs, but what can you do? Bottom with the rifle. And, I wasn't sure what to think about it. So I won't buy Winchester again, at least 22s. I got a hold of them. They got a hold of me. They said, we'll be in contact with you. They sent me a number. I sent the email, sent the page information. Never got back to me. Talked to the fellas, sent them the information with the email. They never got back to me. So at this point, not a lot. So Winchester won't be getting my business again. Now I like Winchester's Drury, Adventures, all that fun stuff on TV. They were great shows. Great ammo at times. Certain ammo is great. But CCI has my money. Right? These guys nail it every time. They make the Blazer ammunition, they make great stuff. But going down into the dispatch, I'll show you my dispatch rifle. The one that I just want to because beaver and pellet guns don't mix. Absolutely. I agree with you there. Beavers have a little too much fat on them, and they have a little bit too big of a skull, too thick of a skull. With my dad used to run his shopping business, or shopping, like use the 22 long rifle and a revolver. See, that's what I'm gonna probably gonna end up happening to me. I'm gonna carry that rifle. I'm like, this is too heavy. I'm gonna get myself a revolver. But for the nostalgia of what I'm gonna show you, and the nostalgia of being a history nerd, I can't go wrong with this. So I had to do it. I had to pick it up. CCI Stingers are my favorite ammo. See, that's interesting. I've heard CCI Mini Mag Stingers are like the best, creme of the creme of like power and shooting and accuracy. But there's another brand out there that is simply a target shooting and an Olympic target shooting that's very accurate. And the name slips my mind, but they're super accurate, and there's like a lot of the Olympic shooters use them because they're so pinpoint accuracy. And when I looked at a chart of all the different 822 ammos and the targets, right, and the accuracy of them all out of different rifles, that brand did the best, and CCI was pretty close. And it was 100 yards, pin, almost putting inside a quarter, so they're pretty accurate. But I can't remember the brand. You'd have to look up Olympic 22 shooting ammo, and it'll come up. When you get into bigger calipers with Winchester Super X, the rounds are a little bit better. Yeah, see, Super X 30-06s, stuff like that, I feel like I'd be comfortable with, and bigger. But these 22s, I feel like they're just a small round. They build them, they don't care about them. They're just something to pump out the door to make people happy. Because people plank with them. They don't use them for actually real stuff like we do. So I don't think they market it as actually like a hunting or squirrel round, as much as the other stuff like the CCIs are actually focused on precision, accuracy, quality product. Even though these are their 5 limited edition version box, it doesn't. I got 300 pretty much of duds that I'm hesitating to put through my rifle because they may jam, and then jamming is a whole nother problem. Let me show you the box. I can't show you the actual thing. I don't want to get this channel in trouble, right? But here it is, right? It's one of the basic Henry models, and the nostalgia of this is it's simply a lever gun. And I'm an arms and armor history nerd, so I love studying that stuff. But a cowboy gun, you can't go wrong with that, right? So that's nostalgia. This is just their flat black H001. Maybe I'll show it for a second, but I don't want to. It's one of those black ones, flat black. No sling on it yet. I will be getting a sling for it eventually. And I also have another one that particularly is the silver version. That's a fancier version that a little more target shooting fun. So maybe a little hunting with it, squirrels, rabbits, stuff like that. But that one's flat black. Not gonna have a problem with it. Getting a little beat up, little road rash, stuff like that. It's also about $200 cheaper than the other one. Whew! I gotta get a drink real quick. Give me a second. Come on, don't fuzz up. Let's see. Squib load rounds are a problem on cheaper ammo. Absolutely. Absolutely, especially 22. It's a good way to destroy your gun. Heck, squib loads go back to even World War II tankers, right? They would start shooting, get in a panic, double load the barrel, or load the barrel, double and fire, and the end would explode. So they pretty much blow up the end of the German tanks, the Panzers, or the what is it? Panther tanks, or the American versions of the what is it? M4 Sherman, stuff like that. Yeah, that's kind of been a problem with these. Blowing up a gun is dangerous. The Cricket and Rascal rifles, kids' rifles, are super small, fit in the basket. Yeah, that's more the lever gun's more because like I said, I'm a history nerd, and what guy doesn't want a cowboy rifle? Like. But with getting off subject here, well, before we get to the last bit there, we'll talk about sets for rats, meaning like nutria, muskrats, a couple trap ideas, a couple things here that I got laying on the floor. Oh, lure that I like. Couple, what was it? Oh, the Owls Outdoors auction last night. That pig hunt for $250 got me thinking. For 2 whole wild boars, that's a really good deal. So, I know it's not going to be that cheap, but they said it's around $500. And in my opinion, that's a good deal. I would love to get myself a 44 Henry, and go shoot some pigs and get them processed and have a bunch of meat. That would be fun. And for me having a timeshare program, right, with hotels, so I can get into hotels, that's a pretty good deal. I can get a pretty good hotel, per inch guaranteed, with the program that I pay monthly for, and go on the pig hunt without having to actually pay full price for the hotel. That's a good deal, and I may do that next year. And if I do, I'm going to film it, because that would be a lot of fun. It is $350 in Texas, but it's bow only. Dang. Yeah, my brother has a bow. I tried to get the information who that was, but I couldn't get the information. I messaged a couple people and tried, but could not get the information. So I'm going to ask again a few people. Mark J, I'm going to ask Foxy. So maybe do that, something like that. That'll be a lot of fun. That'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. Won't be my first hunt. I don't do it like I don't hunt, not because I don't want to, but because, I don't have the gear. I want to get into it. But that would be a lot of fun. Just popping 2 pigs, getting all the meat, and having all the bacon I want in the world. Somehow get it processed down there, probably processed and shipped up here to Oregon. However that would work. But yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Let's put the 22 ammo aside real quick. Let's see, put it down here. Let's see. So now, what's the next thing on my list? After this, in a few hours or after my live sometime, Iowa Trapper will be going live. I'm sure he goes live a lot. Hoping to see him. I like going to his lives. Next on the list is talk sets for rats and connies. So, a couple different options for rats. Your generic single spring version of what I'm going to show you is this is a Blisle. It's an expensive version, but the generic 110, a single spring version of this, right? And run on something like a V stand, something on an H stand is good for just about rats, muskrats and stuff like that, weasels, mink, maybe some weasels, minks, stuff like that. But this is one that actually we used last year. Got a couple rats in it at the golf course. That's the generic stuff, right? Just small stuff, just more muskrat. But when you want to get into stuff like rats and potentially hit nutria and on crossovers on like those things like I talked about earlier, those man-made ditches or man-adjusted ditches, those ruts in the bank where it goes up in the bank and you have a good 5-6 feet of rut that you could dig out and open the mouth a little bit and widen it out just enough to fit a trap in there. You take one of these generic 220s. Well, this is not generic. This is one's actually made for otter. I made this specifically for otter in 220, but will be used this year. 220 or square 220. This is just the one I happen to have available to me. Your round 220s on in H stand or on a KB stand. When you want to keep it small because you want to catch the rats too. Basically clean the trench out or the spot out because the rats do damage, the nutria do damage, the beavers do damage, the otters do damage, and this will kill an otter. This will kill a nutria. This will kill a beaver if it's a smaller beaver. Not ideal, but nutrias are bad because they girdle a tree, meaning they'll take the bark off around the tree, killing the tree. I learned that a couple years ago. They girdle the tree, kind of like you would girdle a tree to kill it before cutting it down. They do the same thing. But yeah, 220s. Of course, this is more for like those narrow ruts that are about this wide in the bank that you stick one of these in, set it, and right on those water's edge, put a little bit of sheep traps from Muskrat Love behind it, get something to come in there, and they'll go through it, right? That's for that. Now, if you're using, and this nutria's head will fit in here perfectly. That's why it's a 220. If I was just doing rats and I want a little bigger surface area, my phone is not charging. I want a little bit bigger surface area, I would put a 150 or 160, 5 inches, 6 inches instead of 4.5 inches. But I want the 7 inches because I want it potentially, when I'm setting these, there's a lot of animals in that area, and I want to make sure I kill what's in there. And this will end up on land, so I want to make sure I'm legal. So this is on land. It has to be 220 to be legal. So when it goes in the water and out of the water fluctuation, this stays legal. That's why I use the 220s a lot. I have a lot of them on water's edge. Now, I run chain and stuff. I just, basic setup. You see me do it. Wrap the chain around there, put a swivel, run a couple inches, another swivel, and usually I'll run the same length into here. But since this is for bigger animals, potentially, I add another length of chain to another swivel. That usually is a crunch boost swivel that I'll just end with, but since this is a box swivel, and I did not realize the stick doesn't fit through there, I made a little loop that I'll stick it through. But stuff like that, I'll put a 220 of those, catching that. But, when they make the mistake, that's when they try to do the crossovers into a lake or pond, or they try to leave the creek. But when they're going down the creek and they go to pinch point, there's 330s in the creek that I set, and there's multiple of them, so they're not getting through, and we catch them that way. Like Judith and Dan mentions here, they catch them in 330s, and that works too. So with the water fluctuations, I gotta keep it legal and be really careful with it. Because in my state, I can put a 220 in the water, and then when it ends up on land, I can legally move it in the water if a warden sees it. Now, if a warden sees a 330 that was in the water and ends up on land, I'm getting a ticket. I cannot move it to make it legal. So I'd rather just avoid that whole situation, just put a 220 there. Because my creek fluctuates. I'll get a day of rain and it'll be flooding, and the next couple days later it'll be near empty. So it fluctuates a lot. And it's narrow creek that has a ton of farm field runoff. So I'm dealing with a highly fluctuating creek. That's why I can't use leg holds in there. Otherwise I'll put one in and just drown them in the 6-7 feet of water. But it will go from 6-7 feet one week, and then a week later it'll be 1.5 feet deep. So I mean it fluctuates a lot. And within a day of heavy downfall, it's going to be over the bank, and I can't even see my traps. They got 50-inch stands, and they don't want to be able to see them. So it fluctuates a lot. But so the lure that I like, I'm a fan of minty stuff, stuff like that. But this Muskrat Love has an interesting peppermint smell and has a little bit of different smell to it. And this one's from Sheep Traps, Sarah Trapline Lures. I like the smell of this stuff. It has a pleasant smell. I mean, gotta support the women in the industry. Gotta do it. When I was growing up, we would never see women out there fishing or anything. It would always be men. And women would never do it. The women that did, we frozen, and then you see the same boat come back, and you never see that woman again on that boat. Nowadays, you see a lot more women in the outdoors, and I'm happy about that. Because I want those kids out there that if they don't have a father, to be like, hey, Mom, can we go fishing? The mom be like, heck yeah, let's go. because they'll enjoy the outdoors. Hoping that since the women are more doing it more now, those women, right, would take the kids outdoors if they're single parent, or the fathers would take the kid outdoors if they're single parent. So hoping that the single parent, female parents, or single women will bring those kids outdoors and get them involved in the outdoors to prolong our love for the outdoors and prolong everything about the outdoors and make it so the kids don't get in trouble, don't get in trouble with gangs, don't get in trouble with friends doing dumb things, don't start doing drugs, don't go down a bad route. So that's where I hope, and I love seeing more women in the outdoors. So I like supporting that aspect of my thought process, like I said, that they'll bring their kids outdoors if they're single. And I've seen a lot of that. And I love that because it's very important to me to pass on what I know. I'm a single guy. I don't have kids. I have a friend that has 3 kids or 2 kids, and I love passing on my knowledge to them. And those kids, they love it. They adore going fishing. If I can teach those kids what I know, I'll be happy. Or until I have kids, I'll be happy teaching them. Muskrat love is good stuff. But with those 220s, what I haven't experienced, messed with besides on trails, to move that out of the way, is Iowa Choppers stands. But what I've witnessed with these, sometimes I can't get them to stand up high enough on the stand to get to the left. Like they slide down a lot on me. But and I also watched something about trails that Dale Billingsley mentioned. He likes the base of his trap 7 inches off the ground. He can't do that with these stands. Can't do it with 8 stands, so he has to do with what are those stakes? Those what are those stabilizers? He has to do with stabilizers. And I may try that this year, get a little high and see what happens. Because he doesn't want them to climb over. He wants them to climb up into the trap. And they have to go up into it versus going up and over something. Even with grass in the way, he mentions that grass will blow stuff away. It'll get wet, it'll mat down, and the animal will go up and over and around it. So he wants it a little higher with branches and bigger stuff so that you don't go through it or around it. They hit that and go in the trap, which I thought was interesting. Interesting that I watched today. Try the Tom's Nutria #1 from Lone Oak Trap Trading. It wipes out Nutria quickly. Just a dip in a Q-tip in lure and a clutch Nutria. I had 16 and 24 sets one night. Dang, that's a lot. Did you see the ones that I like? The Nutria that I can't speak. The Nutria that were round skinned in a couple feeds ago where I talked about Oregon fur. I liked them because of the way the guard hair looked and how when you round skin them, they have a stripe down the back, and the guard hair has kind of a not bristly, but like striped look to the hairs. And when you got it like this and down the back is a thick stripe, and I love it. It looks really good, and one of the reasons I round skinned a few of them. I love the way they look round. But also a part of that was, even though it's not traditional, was that I was just trying to get stuff done, and I was just round skinning everything. Besides, obviously, the rats. They do. They really do. I do. I do like that. It's really surprising to me that more people don't do that. But then again, when you're trying to sell rats, it's not always the way you want it done, but what will sell. They're starting to use them for wool felt like beaver. That would make sense. So for like cheaper hats, I know those beaver hats, you're looking at $500, $600, $700 for like beaver, for not a mix of rabbit and beaver. I have a couple of mixed rabbit hats, and you're still looking at $400 or $500. Once you get up to $500, $600, $700, you're looking at beaver. Then once you get up to $1,000, $1,200, you're looking at mink hats. So it gets expensive in the hat market, the cowboy hat market. I have like four cowboy hats over there. As you see my videos, I wear my cowboy hats, but as a cowboy hat collector and someone that wears them, and has a couple of customs, it really is getting to the point of getting to the point where I have a lot of them and the price just gets expensive. What I originally did to get one of my hats is I was trading I was like, hey, I'll trade you a couple beaver pelts for hat. I just messaged a couple companies, people like, oh, we don't do that. We don't have the equipment. One guy said, oh, yeah, I'll trade you. Where are they from? I said, I'm from Oregon. They said, oh, I used to live there. Made a deal, got a hat, custom hat, and that was cool. That hat's one of the best hats I ever had. Now they sold the company. I talked to the new owners. They're like, oh, we only do in-house customs. I'm like, great. Now I got to go find another company. Another company that I have, American Hat Company, and they get a lot of orders, and they're having a hard time filling them. So that being said, the beaver market should go up on the basis that a lot of these cowboy hat companies are having a hard time filling orders because they can't get the material. So with that being said, and the market potentially being starved, the beaver prices are going to go up, and they should go up with that being said. So think about that when you're beaver trapping this year. There should be a good market for it. Because if they've been, for the last year and a half, they've been struggling to get orders out because they have a hard time. They take the pellets and make the hat foundation, and they shape them all stuff. So they're actually making them, but they have a hard time getting the product. So that being said, and really it's the U.S. market, so the prices should be going up. And that was the last year and a half, so it should be going up. Five-star Hudson Stetson hats is made out of mutual, yeah. Yeah, the higher that the different companies are different ways, right? The American hats go from 10x to 1000x. The 1000x are pure mink. Stetson does it different. They go from their 5x to 100x, or not even that. They go to like 840x, something like that. But then you go up to like 1000x on the Stetson. It's like, yeah. So different companies do different X's. But the higher the X star or X, the better the quality of the fur is. You're looking at a pretty penny. You're looking at $200-300 per bump up in the X's, and that gets expensive. That's why I don't have a pure mink hat or a pure beaver hat, because you're looking at $1,000 plus, and that's expensive. Even with my uncle in the shop and getting a deal on them, so that's still on my price range. That's the whole 2 weeks worth of work when I was working landscaping. So yeah, it's not realistic to get. There will be a lot of beaver trappers out this winter. The market will be down in price to 5 to 10%. They're expecting a lot of furs to sale this winter. Without looking at the markets and looking at the hat market the way it's been, if they're going to the right market, oh yeah, it's going to go up. But you know how it is with everything. You got the antis fighting it. You got the people that will go outside the hat shops and throw people that are buying fur, throw paint on them. Red paint is fake blood. They're killing the animals, stuff like that. Stuff that, I feel like if you did that to me, I'd shoot you. But of course, you can't legally do that. So yeah, I'd love to shoot them, but you can't. You just can't. It's not legal. But of course, you're thinking that, like, you're thinking it, but you can't. Yeah, it's just a lot of interesting stuff. Yeah, cut bait, I'm sure the what's it called? Snapping turtles would love it. Catfish, maybe. Sharks. Ever go chumming for sharks? Oh yeah. So sometimes there's people out there where you just wish you could just get rid of them, but like you can't. It's everybody's allowed to think the way they think. Some just haven't been educated or learned the different ways, of things. But it's a tough world out there. That's the thing about the United States. Everybody is allowed to have their opinion, and not everybody has to agree with everybody's opinion, even though things would go a lot smoother if it did. But I was one of those kids. I grew up watching Disney, right? And you would see those like footholds, big old teeth biting into people. And for a long time, I thought, man, when I was growing up, I was scared of traps. Walking through the forest, I was scared I'd step on one, stuff like that. I was brainwashed by Disney. Getting older and getting into the outdoors a little more, when we got into trapping in 2014, I realized, or a little before that, I was like, I knew before, but when I got into trapping and really started to understand, I'm like, Disney's really pushing an agenda here by by putting these hints in that trap. People getting caught in traps, allowing animals to get away, animals getting caught in traps, getting captured, boxes, all this stuff. Just pushing this agenda of trapping's bad without blatantly going out there and pushing it. And that was in the 90s. So I can't imagine what they do now. So kind of push that agenda on the kids. So because what they see, they start believing, right? Like the news. You watch the news long enough, they start telling you stuff, you start believing what they're telling you. So I turn the news off. I turn Disney off. I don't watch that stuff. Only thing I watch is like the Weather Channel once in a while for hurricane updates, and that's about it. Because then you start like what it is. You see something enough, you start believing it because it's getting fed to you, and they're telling you what to think. So then you start sucking it up, and then it just kind of goes downhill, which is scary. There's way too many animal protesters out there in the first place. Absolutely, I saw some green energy deal people today, or yesterday when I was driving with my parents, that go green, this and that. And I was telling my dad the day before, like, in America, we are one of the greenest planets out there. What you run into is we are so green that other countries mitigate what we do because they're so bad. And you only do so much before it's pointless, right? And these other countries out there, you look at countries after they're just pumping trash into the ocean. Yeah, we want to get rid of microplastics and stuff. We can do the best we can on our coast, but until it's here or until we all the countries get together, it's not going to make much difference. If it is making any difference at all, So, at what point is it definition of insanity to do the same thing over and over and expect different results when we really are doing the best we can and one of the best in the world at, what we do and the most regulations, the most careful stuff. So, but yeah, like so I was talking, you could fight that. I'm all for you fighting for it, but we've gone so far into doing everything the right way that I don't know how much effect we really have anymore. You can only fix stuff so much if you're going to fix it. And then you go up against the wall because these other countries are mitigating what you're doing. So yeah, it's interesting. That's my thought process on it. I'm waiting for an anti to mess with my 330s. Yeah. Yeah. Watching your videos, Dan, feel like I know you a little bit. Know you can talk to you. I want to mess with the 330s. No way. No way. You don't think it's wrong, right? Like you would shoot me. My grandfather has a story where he's working the deputy, right? A cop. And one of the bad guys was saying stuff, right? He said, the cop asked, why'd you surrender? He says, well, I'm not worried about you, but that guy, he'd shoot me. And they started talking about my grandfather. So he just straight up gave up. He was worried he was getting shot. If, doesn't look in my grandpa's face, he has a look where you obey him or you're in trouble. And he turned around and said, I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about him. He didn't shoot me. That's the worst. I'm worried about him. He didn't shoot me. And then the guy just gave up. Super hard, big time criminal, straight up gave up. He's like, I'm not messing with that guy. Which is kind of funny. That's what I think you, Dan. You'd shoot me. I did see Bambi in this movie, and I was on like, how many days can I get out of the Bambi deer? Yeah. How many times can you kill Bambi? Yeah. But the thing is, trapping is good for the environment. They're trying to control the population of wild animals. Yes, and we're trying to remove sick animals because we know the sick ones, the mange, stuff like that. When they get caught, they don't have much time left before they suffer slow painful death and slowly freeze to death or die. Get eaten by the animals, get ripped apart. When we take them out, euthanize them right there, then and there, right then and there, and they're done. So we humanely get rid of them. Whereas nature, you watch nature documentaries, lions ripping apart, giraffes that are ripping them apart. Nature's not friendly. Nature's not, oh, let me cuddle you till you peacefully sleep. That's not what nature is. Or you fall asleep. That's not how nature is, right? So, it's one of those things. I read this is Mississippi. I knew it was coming. This is Mississippi. We have three rules: shoot, shovel, and shut up. Exactly. 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 Yep. I've I've thought about that a couple times, but being in Oregon, you better hope nobody finds out. Just if you're rude, you do. But places like Louisiana and Mississippi, like I when I was in Biloxi and parts of Louisiana, Slidell, I was like, you can get away with a lot of crap out there, like a lot. You kill somebody, you can get rid of them, and nobody will ever find them. There's so much swamp, right? That surprised me how much swamp, and I was like, shoot, shovel, shop, and you never find them. But yeah, that's a big difference from out here. There's you got a couple forests here, you got stuff, but there's got people out there that or the terrain's different, so it's still terrain, so much steep terrain that you can't get there to bury people, right? You have a river, but you better hope the tide's going out, otherwise, what else are you gonna do, right? But out there, you got swamps and it's flat. You can go from miles and miles, and nobody knows find you. Yeah. Down south is different than out here, sure. We go in a ways, but you're climbing straight up, pretty much. And having to carry something up that far, good luck. Hey, bud. Hey, Iowa. How are you? Let me know what time you plan to go live. I'll send my people over there. I already mentioned it earlier. Mentioned that. I mentioned maybe we'll go live, so try to get some of my people over there. Here's the answers hello. Dan, you'll be proud of me. I made a list. Or Iowa, I made a list. We talked about pack baskets. We talked about tools. Talked about dispatch. Talked about a little bit of rat sets. And we're going to further about rat sets here, how I kind of do it. But we talked about when you have a rutted out bank that's flat, got 4 or 5 feet, or maybe more, maybe 10 feet of rutted out bank, that you can take a machete, big machete, like this, 24-inch machete, chop the grass out, widen it with your feet and stick a 220 in there. And when the water comes up and down, it's illegal, and you can catch nutria, rats, you can catch beaver, you can catch otter. Not ideal for beaver, but you can catch everything in there. That's something that I do at this swamp I particularly did. And I consistently catch out of it when I put a trap in there. 2 years ago, we caught a lot of animals out there, and last year we caught a lot, or no, 3 years ago we caught a lot. 2 years ago we caught a lot. 1 year ago we did not set that spot. But lo and behold, I had a beaver on the camera come right up out of there. So so there's a lot of that. And of course, you can go on the bank of the ponds and you take something like a shovel or an axe, wiggle a spot out, kind of hit it, dig it out, and then make a little channel. So the thing goes like this, right? Or straight, kind of rounded. Then you dig out kind of a U-shaped channel, put a 110 in there, and those rats will go fall in the bank. They travel along the bank, right? They'll fall that U shape as long as you leave the opening like this and narrow it down and go around and make a U. They will go through that U and you can start catching rats in that man-made kind of funnel slash U shape. We did that a few years in a row out on a pond and caught a lot of rats doing that. That's something you can do. You can man make them. Of course, have what little 120s, 110s, whatever you want there. It's something funny to do there. But you don't even really have to put them in it. Each stand or anything, you just kind of put them in there, put a couple sticks, and it's all good. But with the 220s, you got a lot of options. You got crossovers, and for me, like I said, it has to do with being legal. And since we got a water fluctuation and we got a 280 that legally can be moved back into the water to be legal, because 220 is biggest on land. But if you move it 330, you're in trouble. But the 280 has to be moved if it comes to dry land. I don't want to mess with that. Those rules, those funky rules, like pinch me if they try to pull something funny. So I just put 220 there, let it go up and in and out of the water, and it's all good. That's why I have a lot of 220s for rats, nutria, and all that stuff. Because in this creek, we have rats, nutria, beaver, otter, maybe a mink here and there, some raccoons on the banks, or whatever goes through it. I want to kill them, but I want to be big enough that they all can go through it. That covers all my animals. And when the general season closed for all the animals, I usually pull my traps. We got an extra half a month for rats, but we don't target the rats that extra half a month. So So I just target everything, pick everything I can out of there, and call good. I have swaps that are 500 plus acres. Never see anyone. Yeah, that's cool. But you can get lost. If you're not careful. I learned that in New Orleans or Slidell. Hey, Dan, I doubt I will go live. Got to pack up beaver since the ship tomorrow morning. Okay. Beaver. You shipping your beaver out? You ship them to Sleepy Creek? That officer was the coolest thing I've ever seen on YouTube. Yeah, so yeah, that was pretty cool. To raise that amount of money was insane. That was impressive. I'll play back in a little bit. That's okay with you. Trapper. I agree, Dan. It really gives me hope for the effed up world we live in. Absolutely. You know, all you hear about in the news is problems, problems, problems. All the fighting, all the social media, all the fighting. It's like, do we even have people support each other anymore? If you're not in a small group of friends, do they support people? Like, that proves we do. That proves we actually support people we don't even know, that we just talk with. That's cool. That's like old school. Like, what I remember is kind of being a young kid. It's like, you got a lot of people out there for you. Then I grew up and realized what the world was really like. And then you realize you got one or two people that are really for you, and then you got the rest that are there but not there. Then you got other people that are just not there for you. So, you know. No, they're going to the fur market. Oh, cool. That's cool. All right, buddy, got to get to work. I just want to swing in and say hi. Take care. Take care, Iowa. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate being here. You helped me a lot, you know, so I appreciate it. So did Judith and Dan. That's helped me a lot, and it means a lot. It really does from the heart. I appreciate you guys. That's the rat. Talk about talks for rats and Connie's. I'm sure if you did the little, you know, U-shape type thing, I'd say entrance 7, 8, 10 inches apart, going through you and another part, you know, open up that same, they have a good wide entrance, and when they get to the corner, they actually weave through there. You can make it shallow enough, put a leg hold in there, catch them, but the leg hold's what you're gonna end up a foothold. What you're gonna end up having to do is gonna end up running into problems with them destroying the set. So I like Connie's, kill them done, they don't destroy the set. Has any choppers ever got a platypus? What they call duckbill? I don't know. Oh, I gotta sneeze. I gotta get a drink of time here. Man, that's good to drink. Oh, geez, here we go. You sneeze so hard, your tendons start hurting. Whew. Ooh, that sucks. That all down your arm, all the way down. Whew, that hurt. And what else did we talk about? I showed the gun, the ammo, talked about the pack basket. Pack basket, of course, has the debris still in it. And then, of course, don't want to cut my finger. You got your driver in there. I think my Wolfing driver in there. You know, one of these. Just throw that in. That always stays in there. Even all year long, it hangs up on the shelf. It's in there. My 24-inch machete fits in there, almost up to here. The handle. My axes fit in there. Boy's axe fits that far into the rim, so it fits in there. So yeah, and that's wide enough that I can fit those tall H stands in there, lengthwise, and fit them in there, 2 or 3 in there. Still fit a ton of traps in there. I actually got a picture of the 3 of us with a bunch of H stands sticking out above our head about 5 feet, walking into the swamp where I took a picture of my father and brother doing that. So you got that idea. So you got ideas. Let's see. Are we talking about median? It's kind of been on the down low, but we have a property that a guy's had has bobcat problems on, and we may trap it this year, so it will be a new property. Now it's bobcat trap, so I don't know how much of it I'm going to do because I'm a water trapper and a little bit of land trapping. I may go along with it. If I do go along, I'll film it. Usually my dad and brother do that stuff, the cage trapping. But it's a coworker of my dad, so my dad's going to ask me, well, do you have a raccoon out there? If we have a raccoon, then I'm going to set some traps for raccoon out there. Hopefully, that's what I'm being told. Now, will it happen? So, if that is the case, there's another property out there. They just went out to Jewel, which is way out in the middle, of course, to my brother's hunting spot, but that's too far to be driving every day, 2-3 hours every day after work to, set up stuff. So we're not doing that this year. Maybe that'll get too political if we get a different president and get the gas prices down. We'll be doing that again. I can't wait to get other prices. Some of that gets the gas prices down. I'll be doing that. I can't wait to show you guys that. That's a legit river. That's a big river. That thing's 50 yards, 40, 50 yards across, maybe more. Yeah, more. It's more. It's like 60, 70 yards across. So it's a big creek, and there's a lot of animals there. Then up above, of course, you're in the middle of nowhere. You're in the forest. So, which is private property that my brother knows through his work as a banker. He asked the owner. The owner said, "Oh yeah, I got some property, Because they talked about hunting, right?" And he said, "Oh, you can come out and hunt my property." Then he gave us permission to trap it. Now we kind of take care of it. We mowed it down. We sprayed it to kill the trail that we drive in on. The elk still go in there. The deer go in there. The bobcat are in there. The otter are in there. The beaver are in there. The otter, the raccoons, all that stuff's in there. But it's far away, and that's gonna be more of a. Yeah, let's not do that again. That's the antiques that's just going. But no, they did not break. But yeah, we got property out there. Trying, and the Manning property is kind of out that way, but it's 15, 20, 30 minutes from the house. So that's not that big of a deal. That's doable. I don't know that property. They have animals, so I may not be able to dispatch them without, blunt force trauma. I never said that. Hit them over the head or something. Because there really is no, we don't want to, I try not to put holes in my pelts, shooting them or anything. But I don't see how that's a problem. We can stitch it up or something. So yeah, there's options out there. Now we had a property last year that I did not film that I got that raccoon on, was a peach and apple orchard up a little way from us. There's a television show called Little People, Big World. They're about the short people, and they're from Oregon. The sign for their entrance to that property is 500 yards from where I was trapping. So it was up that driveway on another property called Helvetia Tavern, not Helvetia Tavern, Helvetia Cider Company. He has some property with the beavers ripping apart some of his peach trees, his prized peach trees, which he makes his peach colada, like it's a pina colada but peach, ciders and stuff he sells all over the restaurants. So he was not happy. He called us in to get rid of the beaver. We caught something, came back and it was gone. It was set off. We don't know if the coyotes took it. We don't know what happened. But I made a comment on his page the other day. Didn't ask. He said, "Oh, that looks good." Now, hey, we're still here. If you need us, we're still here. If you need us, we can come out there. Kind of put in his mind so if he sees, he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." Hitting at it, like without being there, like, "Hey, you need us, we want to come back out." Invite myself out there, if you will, without being that. Just him seeing that, looking at the last name, being like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that." Dang. But yeah, there's a peach orchard out there. Because it's not my contact, it's my brother's contact. So I just put that there. So maybe, he'll contact us. They said my brother and dad are like, well, he hasn't contacted us yet, so I just left him come. Said that looks really good though. Hard cider. So yeah, there's a few properties out there that we're doing, and yeah, but it's more the main property is 1 to 5 minutes from the house that you see me always film. I would love to film more properties for you guys because I love how you guys go out to all the properties, but it's one of those things where it's if we have time and since we all work. Oh well, my dad and brother work now. I looking at jobs, but if after work, do we have time? Last year, you didn't get a lot. I didn't get a lot of filming because I was legit getting off work 5, 6 o'clock. It was getting dark. Go check the traps. If I have time to check them, we check the one up there. If not, check the weekend, and that's it. So I had like 2 days, if that, to check if I'm not sleeping. So yeah, last year was a little bit of a conundrum because I was working 11-hour days, 4 days a week, but I was working 11-hour days, and when I would check them, it'd be on a work day. So it was a lot of hours. I was tired. Yeah, a lot of work. How about the maintenance on your trapping gear? How do I maintain my trapping gear? So a lot of stuff like this, it's new, right? A little bit of rust on there. Right, a little bit of rust. This will get, when this gets completely rusted, brush some of the rust off with the wire, brush some of the rust off with a wire brush. That's a mouthful. Then spray paint them. I've thought about dipping them, but it's one of those things where I gotta have enough paint to dip the whole thing, and I might just spray paint these. And when I do spray paint them, if they have chain on them like this, I'll spray paint the whole chain. That's to seal the whole thing. So if any of this is sitting by the trap like this, they won't see it. Otherwise, I would have to bury it. And a lot of people talk about trigger designs. I kind of like the house shape myself. Depending on the animal, this will get squeezed shut or widened, depending on where I want to hit them on the face or on the shoulders. Smallest skunks, this will get closed about that distance. So like that. So yeah, it depends on the animal. Depends on what I'm catching. That'll be moved. And yeah, one of those things where I spray paint them or just brush some rust off. Stuff like these little 4.5s. You put something like that in there, and you got most of the range covered. Where you're not going to run into problems. Nothing's going to really get through that. Maybe a mink, but then you'd have to really be fancy with the trigger. So yeah, I just wire brush them off by a hand brush, spray paint them. My big conibears are spray painted, my water ones. I really should paint all my traps this year, but with the time I have, the money I have, little money I have, probably not going to happen. I still got to put chain on about 15 traps. That may not even happen, Yeah, because I lost my job. My income kind of went away for a while. So it's really going to go down to what I do. But it's really, I might as well let them, the cheaper ones like the Dukes, I just let them rust. Buy another one, They rarely break. Some of these expensive traps, I paint them. I started that last year. It's because you don't want them to rust so bad that they end up breaking. I had one old conibear that the bar like this on the big trap actually broke off. So yeah, and this you can tell is a complete closure. So there's nothing getting out of those. See that? It closed completely. And that's called a complete closure. And with that bin, it's a Magnum style jaw. So they really don't, nothing gets out of there. With the Dukes, there's a gap like that big. So if you catch a rat by the tail slides right out. So you got to be careful with those. You'll catch stuff by the tail, and you have a lot of animals. So a lot of my traps, like I said, will have swivels, multiple swivels on them. 3 swivels on this one for an otter. I usually just have swivel here, a swivel here, which is 14 links down, and a swivel here, and that's it. But like on the big traps, they're going to have 6 feet of chain and multiple swivels. So it's really depends on what I do. So yeah, that's how I kind of do. But maintenance on my trap gear, the trap pack basket, spray it with a hose. I mean, there's not much to it. The axes, rub the rust off the blade, the exposed metal. Leave it a little bit, rub some of the rust off. Maybe put a little oil in there. That's about it. Machetes after trap season, stay inside in my bedroom in a drawer. They don't get much rust on them. You know, other stuff like the gun just stays under my bed, sealed, which under my bed is because there's really no crime where I live. So don't have to worry about that. And anyway, so I'd have to find it under my bed, which is upstairs hidden in a long ways away. Getting a gun case for that eventually. You know, it's one of those things where I don't have enough really for it to matter, but I will get a gun. I'm safe for it. So there's that. Yeah, really just knock the rust off, paint them, or let the cheaper ones rust. So there's really no maintenance to it. Some of these you could get a food grade silicone and spray these joints with food grade silicone to help them move, but I haven't had a problem with that yet. So that's another option. I have 7 lines planned for this season. Running 4 counties for beaver. Nice. 4 counties. That's a lot. I can imagine counties are pretty big if you're in Missouri and that area, because the swamp, I'm sure, separates the counties by quite a bit. So yeah, this the maintenance stuff is knock the rust off, spray paint them. See, spray paint them is hard. So I try to cover everything, and sometimes I do 2 or 3 coats. So I try to get like a tougher exterior so it doesn't come off easy. Sometimes I primer them and then paint them, and that doesn't seem to make much difference to me, from what I've seen. But yeah, it's just paint them. Now a lot of people do walnut holes, dip them, and I don't have a barrel to do that. I don't have the heat to do that. I don't have like open flame to do that. So best I can do is spray paint them. I live in the middle of a neighborhood. Like you can look out here, there's legit a house out there. So yeah, I don't live in the country really. Although I live on the very outskirts of town. Like if you were to go out my neighborhood and hang a right and then hang a left to the main road, across that main road is country. You're literally outside the city boundaries. That was pretty close. Dogs having dreams. So yeah, not much going on there. Let's see what else we talk about. What did I miss? I talked about tools, talked about pack baskets, talked about dispatch, talked about rats. So I got all my options covered. These lives will be probably not happening as often with like product objects, because the reason I do this now is because one of my family members is out of town. They're coming back tomorrow, so this stuff will be kind of slowing down a bit till the beginning of the season when I can do them. The props probably won't be happening as much. We'll be more talking because it is I have to get it out, open it up, and there's going to be a car in the way of doing that. So that's probably not going to happen as much. But I'll still try to go live, talk to people. It's going to be a lot less. I realized that this whole week to do the lives, and really just pop them in fast before I lose out on an opportunity to really go live as much. But I try to fit as many as I could into one live. Billy. Hold on. He's having a bad dream. Billy. Girl, it's okay. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay, girl. It's all right. Okay, baby girl. It's all right. You know it's all right. It's okay, girls. It's okay. You're fine. Go back. Go back. All right. Okay. No, stay away from that. That's sharp. No, back. Moxie, back. Yeah, so that's kind of my one. It's one of those things. We get a call and somebody needs help, we'll be there for them. We don't charge them. We don't do any of that stuff. It's more because we just take the pelts and have fun. But I would like to start charging, make a little bit of money. But you start charging people, then you get people that are like, well, I don't want to do it. I'm just fine with it. Because out in Oregon, you got a lot of people that like the animals. They don't really want to remove them. So it's one of those things where if you start charging them and you're going onto their property, they start, start getting on the fence about it. And yeah, so we just don't charge them. Bring them a beer or something, a couple beers at the end of the season, call it good. So yeah, bring them wine, a couple bottles of wine to make them happy. Be like, yeah, we appreciate it, so they know. But that's about it for that. Not much else. Okay. What else? Maintenance wise, what else is there? My guns, I haven't taken them out yet to do the trap do trap with, so they haven't had a problem with that. But if I did, they get brushed, all the mud would be brushed off or whatever dirt's on there, if any. I'll try to keep it off the ground best I can. Well, I'm not dropping it obviously, but like, animal grabs it or something. But wipe it off, oil it, clean it, put it back together, put it away. Back in the box. Try to do the best I can with that. Just because that stuff's important. Run a rod through it just to get anything out of there. Run a wire brush or brass brush through there or whatever, or carbon fiber brush, whatever those new ones are that I bought. Run a rag through it with a little bit of oil, call good. Or cleaning oil. Then we'll run a rag through it, wipe it down again. Something like that. Something similar, just basic maintenance. But yeah, that's kind of plan of the gun. Let's see. The pack baskets just go back on the wall in the garage. They really don't get much treatment. This is 2 seasons now on this, and they really just have a little bit of dirt. They just get set up right, so not much for that. Yeah, so not much else. I mean, the lures here, when at the end of the season, I just wrap the tape around them and just seal them off best I can. Keep it freshness with some electrical tape. That's about it. That's all I do really maintenance wise for everything. Pack it, and then I obviously put the lures in a bucket in the shade. Right now it's really hot out there, and they're in a bucket, and I kind of a little worried about it, but should be fine. When I open them, I'll mix them up. 7 lines planned for this season. A lot of lines. I feel bad for the guys in Canada and then the guys in Washington. Because in Washington right now they have a fire, and right now we have a ton of smoke down there. Like it's like we got permanent fog, but smog, fog and smog, fog and smoke. But yeah, it's bad out there. And the guys in Canada had that big fire, So I'm curious how many lines are affected with that. Washington's getting hit, so they can cage trap in Washington, but not much else. So I don't know how much that's affecting anything, but probably affecting the hunting in Elk, Washington, I think it's called. Something like that, I think. Something. Yeah. So I don't know. Anything else you guys want to talk about today? Geez, this is so bouncy. Oh, my boards. The boards. I just use Freedom brand boards, right? They were just what I found available, and they look pretty good. I like them because they look a little fuller than the wire ones. How's the beaver lure holding up? I don't know. I would have to go check right now. You want me to go check real quick? I'll be right back. Give me 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. I'll be right back. It's actually in the garage. I'll go look and find it right now. Give me a second. Give me a second. It'll be real quick. Moxie feeling fine. I'm an out dog. I don't want to get cut. Be right back. Got it right here. Let's see. Got it. I'd have to mix it, but the oils and I think it's preservatives, the oil's separated, but not bad. I should have shook it up. I should have showed you. But yeah, the oil all kind of separated on it. So I just shook it up. But yeah, the oil separated a bit. With a quick mix, it should be fine. It smells good. I smell it. It smells really good. So it doesn't not rancid or anything like that. It smells good. Yeah, smells the same. There it is. So smells the same. Yeah, holding up fine. Yeah, so whatever you did to preserve it, perfect. It hasn't affected anything. It's hot out there. So yeah. No, it's about the same consistency. The only thing that I had was the oils and stuff in there were just separated. I gave it a quick shake. It's back to normal. Got the same consistency. Yeah, no problems with it. The consistency is the same. This forks right here, yeah, it's gonna be one of the. It has a unique smell to it. When I go there and set the Conibear up top, it is one that I'm gonna put behind it because I know there's some animals up there. So it's one that I'm gonna consistently put out there this year, and we'll see what happens. I know there's one up there. I got one on trail camera last year that survived, so he's up there, and we'll see what happens. Yeah. You got to remember though, if I come up blank, it's not because it's one of those things where it's not that I'm going to come up blank. It's just the way I set, the way I use it behind a conibear, and how high I have it up in the creek. They got to go past a couple traps to get up there. So if they're not already living up there, and I do catch a couple below, then probably not going to catch any of that season up there. So I mean, it's not that it's not going to work. It's that I already cleaned the beaver out of that from down low. And in order for them to get that up there again, something's got to be caught, trap's got to be snapped off. They got to pass 3 other traps to get up there. So, and I don't have any sets like that where I can any cuts in the bank where I can put the set properly down below. So I mean, they got to really, they got to get up there. So it's going to be a work in progress, but I'll probably get one on it eventually. So that's one of those things where, yeah, to give it time, we'll catch on it for sure. Cause I like the smell. It has an interesting smell. It has a castery, almost like a castor woodsy smell to it. It's interesting. Yeah, did you see it already, dude, the Dan? It's right there. It's still good. It smells good. Whatever you do with this lure, it smells good. Should make more of it this year. More this year and start selling it because that's good stuff. Yeah, see, that's where I run into problems because of fluctuation. I'll end up having live beavers every time. I want to put them in there so bad, but crap with those other guys, they say don't do it. And knowing better, I'll put a foothold in there, nothing will happen, and then all of a sudden I'll get one and he'll be alive in there, and then it becomes to you can't really shoot him. So, but yeah, yeah. That's the thing. I want to do it on the Castleman. I just got to have the right setup to do it. But yeah, we'll see. Smells good. Yeah, it smells good. I don't want to set it down because I don't want to stain this um antique chest that I'm on. Smells good. I have 20 pounds to make caster with this year. No, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go in the garage. I'm gonna get my caster lures and just go over some of the lures that I have that I've experimented with. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Get out of it. And of course we got the Alpha Delta, right? Stuff smells good. Gotta figure out where to put it. On the ground, I guess. Then we got big old jar of this tail slapper. Right there. Let's see. Oof. Have you tried that Juice and Dan, the tail slapper? Oh, it smells good. I like that. Definitely has a unique flavor to it. I like tail slapper a lot. And then we got this one, Caster Blaster. This is one that I think Juice and Dan told me to get. If I can open it. Oh, geez, there we go. That's an interesting smell to it. Caster Blaster by Welch's. Tail Slapper is the minty one that works on Nutria. Tail Slapper is the minty one. Let's see. Yeah, I get a very faint mint from Tail Slapper. I get it's like a peanut butter consistency. Interesting. Then you got Caster Blaster almost has a spearmint flavor to it. This is interesting. You got Caster Blaster, Tail Slapper. Of course, then you got this stuff. This Trap Supply Dirty Beaver. That stuff smells really good. I like this a lot, this stuff. It's just the Trap and Supply Company Dirty Beaver. Has like a dirty castery smell to it. I love this stuff. I got a big jar of it. That's the big jar. That's the one when I run in a small jar. Then you got, of course, ooh, that's a little leaky. Got Beaver Call by O'Gorman's. Ooh, that almost smells like wintergreen in it. Ooh. That's pretty good, that stuff. I like that. Oh, it's all over the bottle. Then they got, oh my God, what is leaking? Something is leaking all over in there. It's all over the place. This is that Dirty Beaver that I got. Gotta put that one back in there. Something's leaking all over. And then you got Beaver Gland by O'Gorman's. Ugh, that is all over the place. I don't know what it is with some of these, but yeah, look at that. It's all over the lid. And this one's sealed. All over the lid. This is Sweet Beaver. This one smells good. All over it. What the heck? This is more Tail Slapper. I know which one it is, I think. Oh, jeez. Is it really? Yes, it's this one. It's empty. No smell, nothing in there. I'm not going to name the brand of this one. Somebody that I know and like, but it's pretty good. It's just it's leaking all over the place. It's leaked all over the place. That is all over the place. That is disgusting. Then, of course, we got Dunlop's. Yeah, my hand is coated in it. Yeah, it's whole bottle leaked. That's disgusting. That's sad. This one's Dead Man's Hand by Dunlop's one of my favorite. Then you got Just Mine, my favorite. It's just one of my mixes. It's just vanilla, castor, juice out of the castor, mixed in a grease base. You know, that's about all that is. And it smells pretty good. No secret there. But yeah, this one, all the preservative was out of this. It's like, I don't, this thing didn't even seal. It's, there's a whole nother different bottle in my trap thing that's leaking. Mine is just Beaver Swamp House. That one is, yeah. Back. Funny. Yeah, this is empty. So besides stuff that's content, so all that preservative is gone out of there. The dogs want in here. I can imagine why. Oh, geez, what a mess that is. I thought it was the O'Gorman's that was leaking, but it's not. Yeah, so Drew and Dan, yours is like the only container that's like not leaking. Seems like that's good. I gotta go wash my hands before I touch my phone anymore. I'll be right back. So gross. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Not all of them get sealed. Some of them have a really good seal under the lid. Have like a waxy substance where they seal onto. So I mean, some of them aren't sealed. But opening that brand, when I looked at it, it's just empty. I was like, yeah, go figure. I was hesitant to put that one in there anyways when I did that. Now my main bag of scents, there's another one leaking in there with black scent. So I'm not sure which one's leaking with that. Um, black like color. 20 pounds make that's a good lure. I like it. I really do. I really like the smell of it. Just tail slapper is minty. It looks good. Yeah. Newcomers, no. We've been live for an hour and 40 minutes. We'll go 2 hours and then I'll get off. Still have shots on my lip. Let me walk you guys in the garage and show you some stuff. Give me a second. Yeah. I should still have signal when I go in here. There's my boards, right? There's two other pack baskets. Of course, got the lure bin, got the next bin with dog proofs, bin with 330 Conibears, then we got another 4 bins over there. So we got bins there with stuff. Yeah, we got a couple things trapped. We got all the H stands. We got a map of the forest. A couple crab rings, but yeah, that's basically the gist of it. And then we usually skin. Usually see me skinning right here, right by the table. I put my phone there and film this when I skin. Not much. It's just a garage. There's old fiber top basket, but not much. Just the basic garage. Ours. Oh, let's go show you the fish. Why not? I always got to show off the fish, you know. Yeah, I'll show you outside too how smoky it is. Of course, you got the fish there. State record smallmouth. And you got the other fish there. Largemouth. Got the otter. Let me show you guys how smoky it is out here. So, all that out there. It's hard to show. That's not sky. That's all smoke, right? You can almost see the red tint to it. There's a slight red tint to it from the smoke. See it right there, red tint? It's all smoke out there. There is no sky today. It's all smoke. So we get the smoke from the Washington wildfires. I'm gonna walk in front of my trail camera, which was pointed at the feeder. Yeah, so there's all that the smoke out there. It's all smoke. It's bad. You just smell the smoke too. You like it has smoky smell. Foxy, come on. Foxy. Dog doesn't listen. Am I back? All right. I'm probably going to get off, guys. So have a good one, guys. See ya.